Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Have you ever heard the term, let go and let God? I'm going to read from Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich. And he talks about letting go and letting God. He says, how many times have you been faced with what appeared to be an insurmountable problem, and you silently wished you could turn it over to somebody else for a solution? Or have you ever sat daydreaming, building magnificent images on the screen of your mind, wishing you had a certain sum of money, wanting to take a trip to some exotic place, or possibly hoping to be able to purchase the automobile you've always wanted? Wouldn't it be fantastic if there was some magic formula that would give us the things we want and permit us to live the way we choose? Well, there is, and it has been around since time began. You can have all the things you want, all of them, and you will have them if you will only make the ideas in this book part of your way of thinking, part of your way of life. Now, this chapter, he says, you want to read it over and over until you feel deep inside that you really comprehend the idea being expressed. Because once you understand this chapter, it will be as if a tremendous light has gone on in your mind, truly illuminating your life. And you will realize you will never again be the same person you once were. No person, thing, or circumstance will intimidate you ever again. Your days of idle wishing will be brought to a halt. Happiness, health, and prosperity will follow you all the days of your life. And you will spend the rest of your years wanting to share your new understanding with everyone and anyone who is willing to take the time to listen and to learn. Be aware, however, that many of the people whom you try to share your new awareness with are simply not ready for it. In fact, 9 out of 10 people will laugh and tell others that you are odd when you have shared your formula. And the formula is let go and let God. You must realize this is because the vast majority of people whom you encounter every day treat God like some cosmic bellboy who is supposed to run and fetch and deliver. These individuals erroneously believe that merely because a person verbalizes certain thoughts in their mind, God, please give me this, or God, give me that, they will receive what they have asked for. But unfortunately, these people do not understand the true nature of prayer. And what is even more tragic, they don't even know that they don't know. Potential is everywhere. Understand this. Everything you see in this universe, yourself included, is nothing but the expression of an infinite power. This power is forever flowing into and through you. Scientists will tell you that everything is energy. I choose to say that everything is spirit. For centuries, there has been a select group of people who are the real thinkers. These individuals have always known there is a power which permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the cosmos, and that everything you see around you is an expression of that power. The power operates in a very precise manner, which is generally called law. In other words, everything comes from one source. And that source power always flows and works to and through the individual. That's you. Stated differently, the image you have formed in your mind can only come to you on the physical plane of life. It can only become your results in your life in one way. And that way is by law and through faith. The Mormon religion has a scripture in its Doctrine and Covenants which demonstrates this point extremely well. And Bob Proctor said, I'm not a Mormon myself, but I've grown to love these lines. There is a law irrevocably decreed in heaven before the foundations of this world upon which all blessings are predicated. And when we obtain any blessing from God, it is by obedience to that law upon which it is predicated. Bob Proctor tells us the more you study this scripture, the more you will appreciate just how perfect it is. The more you understand its truth, the easier it will be for you to improve the quality of your life. I'm going to read you the story about Clarence Smithson. And this was written again by Bob Proctor. He says, a number of years ago when I was working in Chicago, Illinois, I became close friends with a man by the name of Clarence Smithson. Since Clarence is not a celebrity by any means, I'm sure you've never heard his name before. In fact, he is such a modest, self-effacing person that if he were to walk into a room crowded with people, you would probably not even notice him. Nevertheless, there is a certain indefinable spark in Clarence Smithson, which makes him one of the most remarkable individuals I have ever had the pleasure to know. In an attempt to identify this elusive quality, I have come up with the following hypothesis. Clarence Smithson incorporates within his very being the principle upon which this entire chapter is based. Namely, if a person will let go and let God, all things become possible. That means that they have the faith that whatever must happen for him to achieve his goal will indeed occur. Bob said one day I confronted Clarence and asked him to share with me his view of faith, and more specifically, his explanation of why he personally seemed to possess such a cornucopia of this important attribute. True to his nature, he explained to me he had not developed a complicated philosophy with respect to the subject. He said everything he believed about faith could be summarized in a simple definition. And it was this definition which gave him the strength he needed to endure the trials and tribulations in his own life. Faith, he said, is the ability to see the invisible and believe in the incredible. And that's what enables believers to receive what the masses think is impossible. I have fallen in love with this particular definition, and I've shared it with countless numbers of people since Clarence first shared it with me. Using a slightly different vocabulary, I would make the observation, if you can show me a person who achieves great things, I can show you a person who has great faith in his God-given ability to achieve what he images. In fact, There is absolutely no question in my mind that faith has always been the miracle worker throughout history. It is the connecting link between God and you, and therefore it is your most valuable non-physical possession. In truth, faith is the cornerstone to everything you will ever build or achieve during the course of your entire lifetime. Comparatively, few people today realize just how much faith in oneself, that part of oneself which is perfect, which is spiritual, how much that has to do with achievement, because the great majority of people never seem to conceive of faith as being a genuine creative force. Yet the truth is that not only is faith a bona fide power, but it is the greatest one we will ever encounter. In fact, I would go so far as to say that whatever you accomplish in your lifetime will be in direct proportion to the intensity and persistence of your faith. I'm going to quote again what Clarence Smithison said. Faith is the ability to see the invisible and believe in the incredible. And that is what makes believers receive what the masses think is impossible. Do you know that most people have placed their faith in fear? And fear is invisible, but so is faith. If you operate under the invisible realm of fear, you're always going to have worry and doubt and anxiety and depression and all kinds of, you're going to encounter all kinds of problems. And if you just turn, instead of the believing in the invisible realm of fear, what if you believed in the invisible realm of faith? Study the universal laws. Gain the knowledge of the infinite potential there is within you. Get into that state of well-being. Emotionalize your vision, your goal. See a target that you really want to accomplish. Get so engrossed in that feeling of what it's going to be like, why you want it so much. What would it feel like to be in love, to be healthy, to be wealthy? What does it feel like? Not just seeing a picture, not just writing down a target, what you want, what you think would make you happy, but get into the state of being that, being happy, feeling grateful. If you already were living the life of your dreams, how wonderful would that feel? What would that mean to you? What would you be doing for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your community, for the world? How wonderful life would be if you were living a vision that you have, that you truly want as an ideal life. By accepting the principle, let go and let God, and believing that whatever must happen for you to reach your goal will happen, like in the story of David and Goliath, you too will successfully conquer whatever giant is in your life. You will witness the physical manifestation of your image and in the proper time. It's not enough to write down a goal and use positive language and write it out in detail how you want to be living your life. You really must feel it. You must get into the vibrational energy of the feeling as if it's already done, it's already yours. That's the part of the secret that most people miss. Is you have to feel as if you're already there, already accomplished whatever it is that you want. You see, the trouble with those of us who fail to achieve what we desire is not that we lack the ability to do so, but that we lack the faith implicit in the let go and let God principle, which dictates whatever is necessary for us to reach our goal will indeed occur. We do not believe we can simply tap into the great spiritual reservoir that lies within us to make connection with divinity, with all supply, source, or whatever else you wish to call that power which sustains each one of us. If you fail to make this connection in your own mind, or if you lack the divine self-confidence born of faith in omnipotence, you will never be what you long to be or have what you rightly deserve to have. All of your prayers will return to you unanswered. Your best efforts will bear no fruit, and your negative attitudes will thwart the realization of your goal. You must tap into that energy, that feeling, that well-being. Well, Proctor tells us that a mind that is saturated with fear of failure or images of unwanted results can no more accomplish, create, or produce anything of value than a stone can violate the law of gravity by flying upwards in the air. You must realize the Creator does not alter the law of gravity to accommodate a person who walks off the roof of a house, even if the person was unconscious or in a drugged state. Similarly, the creative principle of the law of achievement cannot be violated with impunity. Therefore, you will achieve what you desire, be what you long to be, only when you have become obedient to that inexorable law of life. To review, the first step in the creative process is to relax and see yourself already in possession of the good that you desire. Let's take a deep breath in and tap into that picture in your mind of what an ideal life looks like for you. Maybe you've just chosen one image that you want more than anything, a particular house or car. If your business was flourishing the way you really wanted it to be, the lifestyle that you truly desire, it's here now. What does it look like? If you were talking to me face to face, describe in detail what it is that you desire more than anything. Why is it important to you? Build the image. The first step is to relax and see yourself already in possession of the good that you desire. You're already there. You're looking from that place, from your ideal destination, from the goal attained. And the second step is to let go and let God. Bob Proctor says, in working with spirit, it helps to focus on the truth that spirit is in all places at all times. Since this is so, it follows that you possess the godlike ability to tap into positive thoughts anytime you wish and anywhere you choose. Moreover, once you become aware of your kinship with the creative power, that you are, in truth, a child of spirit, you cannot possibly be anything other than positive, forceful, radiant, and self-reliant in your dealings with the world, a conqueror of those forces which would attempt to drag you down or hold you back. Once this happens, all the forces in the universe will come together to help you reach your goal, or the manifestation of your image. Finally, gaining the understanding that you are made in the image of the creator of the universe, and you are a living part of eternal spirit, will ultimately transform the results that you are achieving in your life every day. Another thing you should know about spirit is that it is a power which is forever flowing into and through you. We call this power thought. But as spirit or thought flows into you, you choose the image you will then form with it. Experiment for yourself. Sit back, relax, and then become fully aware of this great creative capacity. You can actually form one image or picture after another on the screen of your mind. Images of things which already exist physically, like your car, your home, your place of business, or images of things that do not yet exist, such as your short-term and long-term goals. But the point I want to impress upon you now is that although spirit is the very essence of your being, it will never move into form or into an image without your assistance. So you can't just sit back and do nothing and say, God will look after me. It is true that God helps only those who first help themselves, and it follows that you must always do your part to start the creative process in motion. You must always build the image you know in your heart. The image will materialize. You must come to look upon God as being a great, unseen provider who inhabits every fiber of your being. And you must also understand that the instant you form the image in your mind, God will go to work in His perfect way and move you into an entirely new vibration. That means you will begin to feel differently. So always remember, the new feeling that's coming over you is really God, Spirit at work. And although you may sometimes express your elation by saying you feel enthusiastic, remember that the word enthusiasm is derived from the early Greek word entheos, meaning in God. enthusiastic in Theos, in God. Your enthusiastic attitude will in turn cause your actions to change, and you will start behaving differently. Not only will you begin to act differently yourself, but because of the new vibration you're in, you will begin to gravitate toward and attract to you other like-minded people. Strange and wonderful things will begin to happen to you with such regularity that you will be at a loss to explain or even comprehend what's going on. So don't even try. Just understand it is God's way or the way of the creative force, and accept the good as it comes and expect more good in the future. Let go and let the God Spirit energy work through you. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.